The substructure of the universe regresses infinitely toward smaller and smaller components. Behind atoms we find electrons, and behind electrons...
Mineral resources. Bot recover. Turn complete.
If you can discover a better way of life than office holding for your future rulers, a well-governed city becomes a possibility.
Turn
For only
complete.
in such a state will those rule who are truly rich, not in gold, but in...
Planet's atmosphere, though a gasping death to humans and most animals, is paradise for earth plants. The high nitrate content...
Resources exist to be consumed, and consumed they will be. If not by this generation, then by some...
Scientific theories are judged by the coherence they lend to our natural experience and the simplicity with which they do so.
Turn complete. Turn
We
complete.
hold life to
Turn
be safe.
complete.
There are two kinds of scientific progress. The methodical experimentation and categorization which gradually extend the boundaries of knowledge, and the revolutionary leap of genius which redefines and transcends those boundaries.
He held his arm too stiffly, and so was thrown back repeatedly, until at last I seized his forearm and snapped it back against itself. His training suffered while the arm. Some vices miss what is right because they are deficient, others because they are excessive in feelings or in actions, while virtue finds and chooses the mean.
If our society seems more nihilistic than that of previous eras, perhaps this is simply a sign of our maturity as a sentient species. As our collective consciousness, it is every citizen's final duty to go into the tanks and to become one with all.
The entire character of a base and its inhabitants can be absorbed in a quick trip to the Rack Commons. The sweaty arenas of Fort Legion, the glittering...
Therefore, a wise prince will seek means by which his subjects will always, and in every possible condition of things, have need of his government. And then they will always be faithful to him. Niccolo Machiavelli.
Our first challenge is to create an entire economic infrastructure from top to bottom out of whole cloth. No gradual evolution from previous economic systems is possible, because there is no previous economic system.
The genetic code does not.
There are only two ways in which we can account for a necessary agreement of experience with the concepts of its objects. Either experience makes these concepts possible, or these concepts make experience possible. Immanuel Kant.
Technological advance is an inherently iterative process. One does not simply take sand from the beach and produce a data probe. We use crude tools to fashion better tools, and then our better tools to fashion more precise tools, and so on. Each minor refinement is a step in the process, and all of the steps must be taken. Chairman Shen Jiran, looking God in the eye.
Indigenous life forms. Request confirmation.
Proper care and...
We have reached an informational threshold which can only be crossed by harnessing the speed of light. The quickest computations require the fastest possible particles moving along the shortest paths. Since the capability now exists to take our information directly from photons traveling molecular distances, the final act of the information revolution will soon be upon us. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, for I have tasted the fruit.
Insufficient energy. Turn complete.
At atrociously high energy states,
Turn
the properties
complete.
of matter
Turn
change
complete.
subtly and new miracles become possible. The plasma
Turn
accretion
complete.
process is now dangerous and difficult to control,
Turn complete.
but its products will soon become commonplace in our society. Sister Miriam Godwinson, the Lord works.
Fossil fuels in the last century reached their extreme prices because of their inherent utility. They pack a great deal of potential energy into an extremely efficient package. If we can but sidestep the 100 million year production process, we can corner this market once again. CEO Nwabudu K. Morgan, strategy session.
Turn complete. Production complete. Mod recovered. Turn complete. Turn complete.
Air power rests at the apex of the first triad of victory, for it combines mobility, flexibility, and initiative. Spartan Battle Manual.
Turn complete. Turn complete. Turn complete. Maximum population reached.
In the borehole pressure
Turn
mines
complete.
100 kilometers beneath planet's surface, at the Mohorovičić discontinuity where crust gives way to mantle, temperatures often reach levels well in excess of 1,000 degrees Celsius. Exploitation of planet's resources under such brutal conditions has required quantum advances in robotic and teleoperational technology. Morgan Industries Limited Annual Report.
Turn complete.
Man's unfailing capacity to believe what he prefers to be true, rather than what the evidence shows to be likely and possible, has always astounded me. We long for a caring universe which will save us from our childish mistakes. And in the face of mountains of evidence to the contrary, we will pin all our hopes on the slimmest of doubts. God has not been proven not to exist. Therefore,
The wicked have told me of things that delight them, but not such things as your law has to tell.
Turn
St.
complete.
Augustine, Confessions, Data Links.
Drone riots. Drone riots. Turn complete. Turn
Some
complete.
civilian workers got in among the research patients today
Turn
and
complete.
became so hysterical I felt compelled to have them nerve stapled. The consequence, of course, will be another public relations nightmare. But I was severely shaken by the extent of their revulsion towards a project
Turn
so
complete.
vital to our survival.
Turn
CEO
complete.
Nwabudu K.
Turn
Morgan.
complete.
Important? Yes. Critical? Absolutely. I would go so far as to say that superconducting fiber alone makes our present economy possible. CEO Nwabudu K. Morgan, Morgan Link 3D Vision live interview.
Production complete. Turn complete.
A brave little theory,
Turn
and
complete.
actually quite coherent for a system of 5 or 7 dimensions, if only we lived in one. Academician Prokhor Zakharov. Now we are alone.
Turn complete. Turn complete.
Man has killed man from the beginning of
Turn
time.
complete.
You are orphans, Earthdeedre. Your homeworld already buried, so young among your
Turn
fellows.
complete.
Yet,
Begin with a function of arbitrary complexity. Feed it values, send state. Then take your result, square it, and feed it back into your original function, adding a new set of sense data. Continue to feed your results back into the original function every time. What do you have? The fundamental principle of human consciousness. Academician Prokhor Zakharov. The feedback principle.
I have often been asked, if we have travel between the stars, why can we not launch the simplest of orbital probes? These fools fail to understand the difficulty of finding the appropriate materials on this planet, of developing adequate power supplies, and creating the infrastructure necessary to support such an effort. In short, we have struggled under the limitations of a colonial society on a virgin planet, until now. Colonel Corazon Santiago, Planet, a Survivalist Guide.
The prevalence of anoxic environments, rich in organic material, combined with the presence of nitrated compound. Observe the razor beak as it tends so carefully to the fungal blooms. Just the right bit from the yellow, then a swatch from the pink.
Turn complete.
Follow the glow mites as they
Turn
gather
complete.
and organize the fallen spores. What higher order guides their work? Mark my words, someone or something is managing the ecology of this planet. Lady,
Our ancestors harnessed the power of a sun, and so again shall we. Commissioner Pravendar.
Turn complete. Turn complete. Turn complete.
Organic superlube? Oh, it's great stuff. Great stuff. You
Turn
really have to keep
complete.
an eye on it, though. It'll try and slide away from you the first chance it gets. T.M. Morgan Riley, Morgan Metagenics.
Insufficient energy.
The chief aim of their constitution and government is that
A ship at sea is its own world.
Turn
To be the
complete.
captain of a ship,
Turn complete.
And so we return
Turn
again to the
complete.
holy void. Some say this is simply our destiny, but I would have you remember always that the void exists, just as surely
Turn
as you or
complete.
I. Is
Turn
nothingness
complete.
any less a miracle
Turn
than existence? Sister
complete.
Miriam Godwin.
We sit together, the mountain and I, until only the mountain remains. Li Po from the Yang Collection.
Turn complete.
you are the children of a dead planet, Earthdeedre, and this death we do not comprehend. We shall take you in, but may we ask this question? Will we too catch the planet death disease?
Lady Deirdre Stark, Conversations.
Life is merely an orderly decay of energy states, and survival requires the continual discovery of new energy to pump into the system. He who controls the sources of energy controls the means of survival. CEO Nwabuda K. Morgan, the Centauri Monopoly.
Golden Age begun. Turn complete.
I think and my thoughts cross the barrier into the synapses of the machine, just as the good doctor intended. But what I cannot shake, and what hints as things to come, is that thoughts cross back. In my dreams, the sensibility of the machine invades the periphery of my consciousness.
Why do you insist that a human genetic code is sacred or taboo?
The substructure of the universe regresses infinitely towards smaller and smaller components. Behind atoms we find electrons, and behind electrons quarks.
You ivory tower intellectuals must not use the world of industrial growth and hard currency. It is all very well and good to pursue these high-minded scientific theories, but research grants are expensive, and you must justify your existence by providing not only knowledge, but concrete and profitable applications as well. CEO Nwabuda Kemori.
Until quite recently, Spider Silk had the highest tensile strength of any substance.
I maintain nonetheless that yin-yang dualism can be overcome. With sufficient enlightenment, we can give substance to any distinction. Mind without body, north without south, pleasure without pain. Remember, enlightenment.
Beware, you who seek first and final principles, for you are trampling.
The Warriors' bland acronym, MMI,
the Academician's private residence shall remain off limits.
Planet's primary, Alpha Centauri.
The Isle of the Deep is really not a single creature, but a colony of thousands of...
Remember, genes are not blueprints. This means you can't, for example, insert the genes for an elephant.
Sky farms are fantastically beautiful, with their kilometer-long networks of glass framed in grids of metal, and the sunlight shining through jungles of vegetation inside. When one of them catches the light, you can see the refracted beauty for miles. They're life-giving stars on a desolate planet. In the Great Commons,
the mindworms are the natural defenses of the living planet.
Time dilates as the speed of light approaches. To the extent
I loved my chosen. How then to face the day when she left me? So I took from her body a single cell, perhaps to love her again. Commissioner Pravin Lal, Time of Bereavement.
Turn complete. Production complete. Turn complete.
Einstein would turn over in his grave. Not only does my gift to industry is the genetic...
The Morgan's beer may not be purchased, for a trader cannot comprehend a thing that is priceless. Sister Miriam Godwinson, The Collected Sermon.
Turn complete. Production complete. Production complete.
Our scientists now use fractal theory to teach the molecules to assume or resume a particular thing. Substances of amazing strength become simple once the formulae are properly computed. Colonel Corazon Santiago, The Council of War.
Objects once measured in meters have become so small that they cannot be seen by the naked eye, with revolutionary applications across the board. Gentlemen, forget what your courtesans have told you.
Already we have turned all of our critical...
We are no longer particularly in the business of...
The fungus has been planet's dominant life form since about the time of the Lower Paleozoic on Earth. But when once every 100 million years or so, the neural net at last achieves the critical mass necessary to become sentient. Final metamorphosis.
You waited so long to eat.
As I stepped onto the mag tube, a thought struck me. Can there be friction where there is no substance? And can substance be tricked into hiding from itself? Without sensibility, no object would be given to us.
Turn complete.
Without understanding, no object would be thought. Heaven lasts long, and earth abides.
Companions, the creator.
You see in this dome the
Man is a rope tied between beast and overman, a rope over an abyss. A dangerous across, a dangerous on the way, a dangerous looking back, a dangerous shuddering and stopping.
Turn complete.
What is
Men in their arrogance claim to understand the nature of creation and devise elaborate.
And when the hourglass.
This unusual specimen is not so much a classic particle.
What goes up?
Turn
Better
complete.
doggone well stay up. Morgan Gravitonics, company slogan.
Maximum population reached.
Preliminary analysis indicates that our
complete.
arrival. It will happen,
Turn
and it will
complete.
happen in our lifetime. Yes, we've all heard the philosophers babble
complete.
about
Turn
oneness
complete.
being beautiful and holy. But let me tell you that this kind of oneness certainly isn't pretty.
Some would ask,
Turn complete.
how could a
Turn complete.
Optical computers, genetic catalogs,
Turn
nano repair
complete.
modules, forget all of that. It's when you see a megaton of steel suspended over your head by a thread the thickness of a human hair
Turn
that you
complete.
really find God in technology. Anonymous Metagenics Dock Worker, Morgan Link 3D Vision. The happy life is
complete.
thought to be
Turn
one of
complete.
excellence. Now, an excellent life requires exertion. It does not consist of amusement.
Turn
If you
complete.
daimonia, or happiness, is activity in accordance with excellence, it is reasonable that it should be in accordance with the highest excellence. Abort, retry, fail was the phrase some
Turn
wormed
complete.
on.
The first living thing to go through
Turn
the device
complete. Turn
was a
complete.
time travel
Turn
in the classic sense has no
Turn
place in rational
complete.
theory. But temporal
And when he has
Turn
brought
complete.
forth and reared this perfect virtue, he shall be called the friend of God. And if ever it is given to man to put on immortality, it shall be given to him. Plato,
Turn
The Symposium.
complete. Turn complete.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind.
Turn
Have
complete.
you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky.
Turn
Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Wrong line.
Eternity
Turn
lies
complete.
ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet.
Eternity
Turn
lies
complete.
ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Resource shortfall. Maximum population reached. Complete. Turn complete. Have ended.
Eternity lies ahead of
Turn
us and
complete.
behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with
complete.
Planet. Epilogue.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Production complete. New orders needed. Project initiated. Perhaps a careful review of the options is in order. Production complete.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Production complete. Maximum population reached. Resource shortfall. Drone rides have ended.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet.
Complete.
Epilogue.
Resource shortfall. Turn complete.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you
Turn
drunk
complete.
your fill? Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill? Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Production complete.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky. Conversations with Planet. Epilogue.
Eternity lies
Turn
ahead of
complete.
us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Turn complete.
Lady Deidre Sky.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill? Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?
Lady Deidre Sky.
Eternity lies ahead of us and behind. Have you drunk your fill?